Sparkle Squad, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jason and welcome to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be doing another DIY video for you guys. And as you guys can tell from the title, today I'm going to be making DIY scrunchies. Right now, scrunchies are really popular and I like them a lot as well. I use them like literally every single day for skating in my hair, and I also wear them on my wrist like I am right now. So I've made a couple scrunchies. So I'm going to show you guys which ones I've made. I've made this one that I am wearing on my hand. It's like this velvet, like gold brownish color. This tie-dye kind of like pink and gold one. This black one. This yellow one. This one which has like some pandas on it. This one with some swans on it. And this one which is my personal favorite one. It's like this light dusty pink color and it has roses and this bow on it. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make two different types of scrunchies. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a plain scrunchie like this one and one that also has a bow on it. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. Also, before we start off the video, I wanted to mention that the scrunchies I'll be showing you guys how to make today, you won't need a sewing machine for, so it is everyone who wants to make these will be able to make them most likely. So now let's get started. The materials you're going to need to do this DIY is some fabric. You can go into any fabric store like Joann, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, and get whichever fabric you want, and you're only going to need like about 1/8 of the fabric because you'll be able to get 3 scrunchies out of that amount of fabric. And also it's actually pretty cheap. It can range from $1 to $1.50, depends on which fabric you want to buy. I have this stack of fabric right here. I have this black one with some silver like glitters in it. This red like velvet. This pink one with some like shiny polka dots on it. This gold one with like this metallic rainbow polka dots on it. The same as my background kind of. This silver one that has metallic polka dots on it. Just plain black fabric. This purple fabric, and this is actually the same fabric that we used for my Zendaya costume. This swan fabric, some yellow fabric. I have this pink fabric with like gold speckles all over it. And then I also have this velvet color, and it's like this one that I'm wearing on my hand right now. It's like this gold, and it reminds me of like a teddy bear, and I really like this fabric. You're also going to need some elastic. I have this one which is 3/4. And I use this to make these scrunchies and like the one that I have on my hand. But I also bought this one that I just got. It's 1/4 elastic. Here it is, I already have it cut out. You're going to need 1/8 of this one. It's not as stretchy and I've never used this one before, but we're going to test it out today and see how it works. You're going to need a safety pin so then you can turn out the fabric and also place the elastic inside of the fabric. You're going to need some pins. This is optional. I've never used this before, but it's like a finger cap. And when I was making these scrunchies before, I burned my fingers so many times because you have to press it down and the hot glue kept getting on my finger. So I'm going to try using this. I might not even be able to use it, but we're going to test it out. This is optional. If you guys have used this before, you can use it now, or if you want to try it out like me, you can use it. It's not like mandatory to use it. You're going to need a hot glue gun. Mine's already heating up. I'm going to use a plastic mat so I don't get hot glue all over my table mat, and also the hot glue is a lot easier to get off of this. You're going to need some glue sticks to put inside of your hot glue gun. And the final thing that you need, this is also again optional. This is for if you want to make a bow scrunchie or a scrunchie with a bow. You're going to need some thread that is the same color of the fabric you're using, or not exactly the same, but like close enough to the color you're using. And finally, you're going to need some scissors so you can cut the fabric. Also, I forgot to mention, but but the fabric that I'm going to be using when you cut it, you're going to need 4 inches wide, or this way, and 18 inches long this way. So now without further ado, let's get started making our scrunchies. The first step is to grab whichever fabric you like. I'm going to choose this one because I really like this fabric. It reminds me so much of a teddy bear, and it's like this really pretty gold color, and it also matches like the one that I have on my hand. And you have to cut it. I already have mine pre-cut. I'm going to tell you guys the measurements again, even though I already told you. So it's 4 width and 18 length. We're going to start by placing our fabric with the design facing down on our mat. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take our hot glue and place a line of hot glue right down the width. Now what we're going to do is we are going to fold it right on top of it, and we're going to press it down. I've never tried it with this before, and it feels so weird, but like my finger isn't burning off, so that's good. Now that we have that glued down, we're going to turn it around like this. So you only have to glue down one end of the fabric. You don't have to glue down the other end of the fabric because this piece of the fabric is going to be on the outside and this is going to be on the inside, so you won't see this and you don't have to glue it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it to the textured side. Now what we're going to do is we are going to start hot gluing. I'm going to put on my cap. Hopefully this works. I'm kind of scared. It's hard holding the hot glue gun with this on. Okay, I'm just going to take it off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start hot gluing down the fabric, and we're going to take this and fold it on top. You want to do this on sections so then the hot glue doesn't dry by the time you get here, and it'll also be a lot easier. So you also want to try to keep the fabric nice and like even. So now let's start that. Also, another tip is when you're trying to press down the hot glue, try and make it as flat as possible so that when it'll dry, it'll be really smooth, and then it won't have these bumps in it. It'll make your scrunchie a lot smoother. Also, when you're gluing it, since you're gluing it in sections, try and glue it as close as possible to each other so then you won't have any gaps in the fabric, because when you turn it out and you have gaps, then it'll be really hard to fix it then. So try your best to fill in all the gaps now while you're still hot gluing them. So this thing that I have on my finger, it's actually kind of useful. I haven't burned myself yet. I can feel the metal starting to heat up on my finger, but it's not like a burning heat, so that's kind of good, I guess. I mean, I can't use the hot glue gun with this on my finger, so I always have to like take it off and put it back on, which is kind of annoying, but at least I'm not burning myself, so that's a plus. Also, if it's not like the most even, like if the sides don't match up perfectly, it doesn't really matter since it's going to be on the inside. But even since it's on the inside, you want to try and make it as even as you can, because you don't want your scrunchie to start twisting. So a way to tell if your scrunchie is starting to twist is mine accidentally started to twist. If you guys look at it, it's not completely straight. There's like this like twisting motion in it. But then I tried fixing it, so it kind of looks a little better. And then also if it starts twisting, this fabric is going to be extra. So I have to cut that off. Okay, so now let's move on to the next step of making our scrunchies. Now we are going to take our safety pin and we are going to turn this inside out. To do this, you're just going to take the safety pin and like pin it into one of the sides. Oh my gosh, this is like so hard. Then you're going to flip that safety pin onto the inside. and then you just have to pull it through, and voila. Now we can take out the safety pin, and we are going to flatten out. Like this, and our scrunchie is nice and flat. Now we are going to take our elastic, and we are going to take the safety pin again and place the safety pin through the elastic this time. So again, this elastic is 8 inches. You can make it as small or as big as you need if you want it for your hand or if you want it for your hair. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place the safety pin in it again. You want to hold the end of the elastic when it's starting to go farther in, so then you don't lose it inside of the fabric. But then what we're going to do is we are just going to take it through the fabric. Now that we have the elastic through this scrunchie, we're going to take off the safety pin. Make sure you're holding on to both of the elastics so you don't lose it. So for this step, it's optional for what you want to do. I am going to tie the two pieces of the elastic together, or you could also sew it or do whatever you want with it. So I tied the knot on my 2 rubber bands. So before I tighten it anymore, I'm going to test it on my hand. And this is the time where like you want to figure out if it's too small or if it's too big, so then you could take it out and fix it. This is perfect for my hand. So now I'm just going to take it off, and I'm going to tighten it a little bit more. I'm going to cut off this little piece. So now we have this little knot on our elastic. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 ends. The end that you didn't glue together, you're going to place on the inside for about 1/2 inch of the end that we did glue. So we're going to place that in, and you want to make sure that it is not all twisted and everything. You want to make sure that it's nice and like flat and untwisted. At the top, you also want to make sure that the 2 places where we glued it line up. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take some glue, place some glue right there. You don't need that much, just so that it will hold it. And then you're going to take the other end, push it on, and hold it there so it'll dry. And you want to make sure that it lines up and that it will be flat, as you guys can tell that it's like nice and flat and that it's not moved apart or something. Then you're going to hold that there until it dries. After that dries, what we're going to do is on each side we're going to make a line of hot glue. You don't need that much, again, as I said. I need a new hot glue stick. You don't need that much, just so that it'll hold it down. And press so it'll seal the 2 sides together. And then we're going to do the other side. And then you can just, you have to wait for this to dry, and then you can like move your scrunchie around. And then since we're working with hot glue, it dries super fast, but you still want it to dry completely, but then you can try it on and see how it looks. And there you have a scrunchie. So that is what the final product should look like. And also, here's what it looks like off of my hand. Now we're going to move on to the next scrunchie, and this scrunchie is going to have a bow. So the first step, again, is we're going to choose our fabric. I am going to be choosing this purple fabric. Here's what it looks like. Just a really pretty, like, dark purple color. Since this is going to have a bow, I also cut out a smaller piece of fabric for it. Here is what this looks like. This is 4 inches wide by 9 inches long, and this is what we are going to use to make the bow for our scrunchie. And also, that is what you're going to need the thread for, and I have this dark purple thread to match my color of my scrunchie. I'm going to speed up the process since we're making just a regular scrunchie, but then when I get to the bow part, I'll show you guys how to add the bow and how to make the bow to your scrunchie. So now I'm going to start making this my scrunchie. Ta-da! Here is my scrunchie. I finished making it. Here's what it looks like. And that. And now we're going to make a bow for this one. So I have my fabric, which is 4 by 9, and it's the same fabric as the one that I used to make my scrunchie. What we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half. And when we fold it, you want to be able to see a little bit of the bottom layer of the fabric from the top. Then we're going to fold it in half again, this way. Hold the 2 corners together. Then what we're going to do is we are going to pin this. So I'm going to take 2 pins. You can use more pins if you want. I'm just going to use 2, just so that I can hold it. And then while you have this, you're going to cut out a leaf shape. You're going to start from here and then cut out a sort of kind of leaf shape. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Voila! Now that I have my bow shape cut out, we're going to take out the needles. We're going to open it up. So now that we're going to keep it halfway folded, we're going to take our thread. Here is my thread. What we're going to be doing, to make the bow, we are going to leave about 1/2 inch from the middle on both sides. And we're going to sew on the curve here. We're leaving 1/2 inch on the middle, so it'll be easier to turn it inside out. We're going to be sewing it. You can hot glue it, but I tried hot gluing it, and it was really hard to turn it inside out, and also it was really, like, the hot glue took up a lot of space, and the bow was really tiny, and it was just like a mess. So if you have like a sewing machine or a thread and needle, it'll be easier to sew it. My mom usually sews it with a sewing machine for me, but today I am going to be sewing it by hand for you guys. So we're going to start off by pinning the fabric together so it'll be easier to sew it. Now that I have it all pinned, I am going to take my needle and I am going to sew it from 1/2 inch from the middle, start sewing it down to here, and then when I get back, I'm going to sew it on this side until I get back to the middle. Then I'm going to take it out and then I'm going to start doing this side. So I'm going to start doing that. I finished sewing both sides of the fabric, and here's what it looks like. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. All you want to make sure is to not leave any holes. Now we have to turn it inside out. That's what I'm going to do right now. When you push it out, you want to try and get the point as far out as you can. Now I'm going to do the other side. And now we are going to flatten it out. And this is what it should look like once it's turned inside out. Now I'm going to put a little hot glue in the middle so it can hold it together. But since we're going to tie it onto the scrunchie, you won't see it anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Now we are going to take our scrunchie and we are going to place this on it. You want to line it up to where the seam is on our scrunchie with the middle of the bow. Then we're going to take it, fold it over, and then tie a knot. Here is what the final product of this scrunchie looks like. It's really pretty. I'm gonna have one. Here is what it looks like on my hand. I really like this scrunchie, it's really pretty. I'm really happy with this one. These are the two scrunchies that I made today, the one without the bow and the one with the bow, and I'm really happy with how both of them turned out. You guys should totally try this out at home. This is the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I want you guys to comment down below how you guys like scrunchies, or do you guys not like scrunchies? I like scrunchies. I have so many of them and I use them almost every single day. Anyways, also don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications. Love you guys. Bye!